Hello and welcome to episode 22 of the ReelTok Podcast. I'm here with the lovely gentlemen, Cam, Tyler, and George. A few things to say before we get going. We obviously released a Patreon last weekend, which has we've all been surprised by how many. We've got over 30 of you in there right now. The Discord is active. We're speaking to you guys on a daily basis. Again, we don't want to ask for money off any of you. This is just if you want to support us and get some extra benefits, which you can feel free to check out on the Patreon site themselves. But even if you don't sign up, we appreciate all the support we're getting, the subs, the likes, the Spotfiy ratings. We actually recently, I don't know if you three saw, we recently hit 802 or something like that on Spotify now. Still an average 5 rating as well, which I think is quite rare, I'll be honest, from what I've seen with that many. That's really good.
It's very cool.
Really good. In terms of everything else, obviously with ReelTok Collection, we will be announcing soon. We're just getting kind of the last few details sorted. I know everyone, I don't know about you three, I've got a few DMs about that as well, asking, what's in it, when are we seeing it, blah, blah, blah. We're just getting the last few details ironed out, and then we'll drop that ASAP. But before we get into the main episode today, how is everyone? Cameron, how are you doing this week?
Good. Good week, better week. Watched a couple movies here and there. Really right now, my most of my mental health is running on Purdue basketball. Tough loss last night. I went to like an all IU bar, and I was kind of hoping to feel better about myself afterwards, but did not. Tough loss. So, a little bummed about that, but it's all
I just
right.
want to touch on that for a second, because I was texting you because you were at your big rival's bar rooting for your team.
Yeah. So if you don't know anything about Indiana University, they have a massive bar called Kilroy's. That's kind of like their main bar from what I don't know a ton about it, but Kilroy's is a big bar there. There's one downtown. It's an IU bar. And I was in the heart of the devil.
Yeah, so you're in hostile territory. I'm like, are you the type of person that like yells in excitement when your team does something good? And then you respond, you're like, I'm the type of person to yell directly at someone's face.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is gonna go well.
I'll someone and tell them fuck you. Like, I'll get in. But I also that's only if they're kind of like coming after me. But then like I made a couple friends with some IU guys. They were kind of funny. One guy was like, I was walking trying to find the bathroom, and he was like, and this was when Purdue was down a bunch, so he was like, yeah, go home or something. I was like, I'm actually looking for the bathroom, and he was like, oh, it's actually that way. And I was like, hey, thanks, man, that's very kind of you. I was going the wrong way. He's like, yeah, no problem. So it's fun, friendly banter. It's all right. I think we'll beat them when they come to Purdue. We'll split it 1-1. It's all right. But yeah, that's where my mental health is. It's a game I thought we would lose anyway, so I don't need to touch on it too much. But go Boilers! We'll be back.
I find the concept of like college sports so weird. Like, it's just I don't get why it's so heavily followed. Like college sports,
it's definitely only an American thing. I think. I don't think any other country, because like every other country doesn't really have college. Like they more just go straight to pro.
Have college.
No, right, but like people that are like 19. People in Europe that are like 19 that are good enough for like college sports here would go pro in like a European league, like Luka Doncic or like. So yeah, I feel it's just like I don't know. It's all a game and all a system that's all designed for money. It's like
they're just kids.
Is it counted as professional or semi-professional?
No,
it's college.
Yeah, that's why it's all for money, because there's like players that could be pro, but like college forces them to go to college for a few years, so then college can make money off of them.
You have to play 3 years of college football in order to go to the NFL, and you have to play or you have to be there for 3 years, or you have to play 1 year in basketball. Yeah.
Do you?
They're actually going away with that. I'm pretty sure they're going.
I thought you didn't have to play in basketball. I thought you didn't have to go to college.
You can play 1 year in college or 1 year like overseas. So
that might be why then.
Yeah, you can kind of pick, but before going to the NBA. But the NBA sucks and college basketball is great. Best sport ever. So
fair enough. George, was it Victoria's birthday? It was yesterday, wasn't it? Victoria's birthday. Did you do anything nice?
Yes, it was yesterday. So happy birthday, Victoria! Shout her out on the pod.
Woo, woo, woo.
It's been so cold in New York. I know last week I complained on the podcast that we hadn't seen the sun. We see the sun now, but the wind chills yesterday dropped to like -3. So we really didn't do much. We just went out. We explored the neighborhood a little bit. Got a couple of frame prints for our apartment that we need to hang up, and then we just went to dinner. And then we met up with my sister out at a bar, and that was it. Really calm day, just because it's fucking freezing around here.
I'm related. It's horrible around here.
It is
So
misery.
cold.
Oh my goodness.
What
But
are your
other than that-
degrees when you're waking up in the morning?
What?
How cold is it when you wake up first thing?
Oh, I don't know. This morning, I think it was like 17, 18.
I don't know what
Not
that is.
not in. Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
Negative something Celsius.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna say negative like 3 or 4 maybe, which is around what it is here as well. It's horrible
Yeah,
whenever I wake up.
freezing, which is just
Yeah.
miserable. But other than that, week was pretty tame.
Negative 10. Negative
There's
8.33.
no way. Is it
Negative
that cold?
8.33. I rounded.
It's not
Sorry.
that.
Fahrenheit
That's-
though. Or wait, did you already
No,
translate it?
That's the.
Okay.
that's
Yes,
the-
I changed it. Yes.
That's crazy.
Shout out Google.
big shout out Google.
That's crazy.
Knocked a couple of films off my watch list, which is pretty cool. Went to the Knock at the Cabin screening. Pete Davidson and M. Night were there. That was cool. We can touch on that a little more when we do the full
Emma's
review.
very jealous you got to be in a room with Pete Davidson. So congrats.
It was so funny because like he's never been the moderator of like a Q&A, and he made that very clear. The first thing he said when he sat down was, I've never done any of this, so my fault if I fuck up. But it was hilarious because it was funny watching like someone who's not like trying to be overly sophisticated ask like this, well-known film director like a bunch of questions. Like he was asking some funny shit, which was hilarious, and it was cool seeing like a more casual interview take place. But it was really cool. It actually worked out pretty well. I thought Pete did a good job as the moderator, and it was just obviously always cool to hear a filmmaker speak, regardless of who it is and what I think of them. But yeah, that was my week. Pretty tame.
Fair enough. Tyler, how was your week?
Yeah, it's been good. So I can't relate to the cold weather. Live in the desert. It's 75 degrees Fahrenheit here every day. So
You bastard. You
Yeah,
bastard.
And like it's been so I grew up in Minnesota, which is like one of the colder states in America. So I'm like used to it, and it's been so long because I lived in Texas for 3 years, and I've been in Arizona for a year, that I just haven't seen snow in so long that like my friends texted me a picture. They were at like dog sled races in Minneapolis, just in the streets, just like dog sleds, and I was like, are you guys like up north, like near the border of Canada? And they're like, no, it's just like what normal Minnesota looks like. I was like, yeah, I guess I just forget. But yeah, it's like 75 here, so it's fine.
What the hell is a dog sled?
You had to seen them in like movies,
come
like I don't know what's
They have like 10 dogs. There's a movie about it with all right, give me a second.
with Cuba Gooding.
Dafoe.
Is it Cuba Gooding Jr. in it? Oh, Willem Dafoe.
Wait, is
in
it?
one?
Are they actually being pulled by dogs?
I
or
think it
that
is.
Yeah.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Just
Yeah, good
picture
pull.
Santa's
Snow dogs.
reindeer.
Snow
Yeah,
Dogs, 2002. Y'all don't remember that?
Who's
Yeah,
in
no,
that? Who's in
I
that?
know what they
It's
are.
Cuba
But I didn't know
Gooding
that was
Jr.
like a thing
Okay.
people still did.
Yeah, I mean, people kind of do it more as a novelty now. Like races are for sure a novelty, but I'm sure people still like, in like Alaska or something. Just if they got a bunch of dogs, just go into town on a little dog sled. But yeah, weather's nice here. I'm long overdue to set up my office. Like I have everything I need to at this point, but I've just like been so busy with school and other stuff that I think today might finally be the day. But Sundays are like my real talk day, where like we film, then I edit everything and then get all it ready. So once I get all that done, finally gonna make this place homey and finish up the office. But yeah, been a pretty standard week other than that.
Cool. Interesting. So, before we get into the reviews, we'll go over, what we've been watching throughout the week. Cam, I'll start with you. I know you said you watched a couple things.
Yeah.
Any notable mentions?
In Cindy's, we're gonna have a.
It's actually.
Isn't it
I
like
forgot
on
how to pronounce
Sunday?
it. Ignore me.
It's
It's
French.
on Sunday. Yeah,
Yeah.
on Sunday.
All right,
Yeah.
I am.
Uncultured swine.
Yeah, I'm a bigot. I'm sorry.
I don't blame you. I don't think they ever say it out loud,
Yeah.
and it's like a different
No,
language.
they
so
definitely
yeah.
I was going to call it Incendies as well.
On Sunday, we watched that. Obviously, part of the Patreon will be releasing a review each week, picked by the people. And so that is the review for the week. So we'll get into that. You'll see that on Thursday, most likely, or someday. I don't know. But Thief was the big one. I watched Thief. I gave it a 93. I really loved it. The ending was like, all of a sudden, they're on the beach. I'm gonna spoil Thief. I'm sorry. They're on the beach.
40 years old at this point.
Yeah, no, they're on the beach, like celebrating, and obviously it's not gonna end like happy ending. And there's like 20 minutes left. And then everything starts happening. Like, yeah, obviously, it's a life of crime. Your partner turns on them, of course, or the person that hired them turns on them, whatever. And it felt like that happened in like 10 minutes, and it just felt a little fast. And also,
I think the ending is the best thing of the film, to be honest. I love it.
I mean, I liked the ending. I liked the ending a lot. I think it was just a little fast. And then outside of James Caan and Tuesday Weld, I think her name is, I think all of the acting was kind of shit.
I disagree. I think that's just 80s acting. Like, it's the same whenever.
That may be true, but I didn't love it. I think I've seen better 80s acting.
Isn't this the only 80s film you've seen, though?
Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I'll go look, just
Shining.
for fun on how many. I don't want to dwell on it too much, but I've seen 42. Sorry, reading's hard. 80s movies, so not a ton, but enough. But
now I'm curious how many I've seen.
Sorry, so where was it? So they hired a consultant who plays the cop, who was like an ex-thief, right? And he plays the cop in this or something. I'm not going to look up his name. Whatever. They hired him for this movie, and he acted in it. And I'm like, and this is one of those like 15-17 to Paris, where they hired the real people, right? And that's great, and that's good, and that's very like respectful to them, but they're not actors. And I kind of get like similar vibes. Like he was a great consultant. I'm sure he helped a lot, planning out the theft jobs and everything, but he's not an actor. And there's one line, and I completely forget it at this point, but it's really, really bad. So I'll try to find it by the end of the pod.
Did you like the interrogation segment?
I think that's what I'm talking about. That's
really, I think that's
really
so
bad.
funny though. I think that's funny though. It's really funny.
Yeah. I mean, I loved the movie. I really, really liked it. I just think there were too many things that kept it from a 5 out of 5 in my opinion. So I put it at 93.
That's okay.
I don't even know what else I watched. I watched like 2 Adam McKay shorts that are on Letterboxd. Gave them both 3.5. They were like 4 minutes long, each of them, but I don't know why they're on Letterboxd. But
there's loads of things like that on Letterboxd.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, my Adam McKay, percentage was like a 50 out of or 50%. Sorry. And so I was like, I'm just gonna watch these 2 4-minute shorts and log them on Letterboxd to get my Adam McKay numbers up, to be honest with you. So I just watched them for that reason. Nothing really else of note. I don't need to dwell on it too much, but yeah, it's kind of where we're at.
So Tyler, what have you been watching this week?
Yeah, so since Knock at the Cabin came out, been trying to tick off some M. Night films because I've actually seen basically all his filmography, but it's been just so many years. I'd never seen Lady in the Water, though, so I ticked that one off. I actually quite enjoyed it. It's one of the ones similar like The Happening and The Last Airbender, to where its average ratings insanely low. But
I haven't seen it in years.
I actually quite enjoyed it. People call it his most personal film out of all of his. And then I watched Unbreakable. Loved Unbreakable. And then after that, watched Forrest Gump. So I was back-to-back movies where people could have been the greatest NFL player of all time and just decided to give up that life. And I'm just like, come on, man. Like,
I mean, I don't rate Forrest Gump like all that highly. Of course, it is a 4.5, but it's like an 85 out of 100. But 3.5, man, I feel like it's low.
I feel like it's a very fine movie. I give it a 3.5.
It comes to me with 3.5.
I give it a 3.5.
I didn't know you had a
3.5 as well. I'm a 3.5 as well. Yeah.
So maybe
Tyler,
I do
Seth,
rate it highly.
handshake meme.
It's fine. I think it's a fine film. I really don't think it's great though, to be honest.
It's one of those movies that I've argued this on TikTok, and a lot of people hate me when I make this argument. I think it ages terribly every time you watch it. Every time you watch it, there's just some other glaring flaw that's just shoved down my throat.
Yeah,
I've also only seen it once.
Yeah.
I've only seen it once, and I didn't love it. But
I think that'll go down for you on a rewatch, because I used to have it at 4, and then I watched it like a year ago, and then it's like, I don't know, man. It's fine though. It's not a bad film. Like some people hate Forrest Gump, don't they? Because they say it's just blind.
I thought people held this thing insanely high, like loved it.
They do, but then
it's the 13th highest movie on IMDb.
Yeah,
It's just,
people do.
it's just pure American propaganda. A lot of people have a problem with it, isn't it? It's just very patriarchal in the way it's presented.
Well, yeah, people have a problem with that, but also that like they just like take all these great achievements accomplished by all different kinds of men and women and just basically make one white dude be the guy who like accomplished everything. So it's like kind of like whitewashing a lot of history.
It is my 353rd rated movie. Like,
People have the same issues with it sometimes they do with like Saving Private Ryan and the way that things are presented and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In terms of the hero and patriarch and whatever. I don't really care about that stuff, I'll be honest. Like if a film entertains me, I'm not really that bothered. But
Right. Yeah, I just think it's too long for what it is.
yeah, I agree.
Like once he starts running across America, then it just starts to drag.
And it's not even that long, is it? Like
it's like 2 hours 10, so like not crazy long,
Yeah,
but
like,
not.
It's longer than that, man.
Yeah,
It's 222 according to Letterboxd.
It feels like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Feels long.
But anyways, watch that, and then after Cam's glowing reviews last week, I watched You People and Shotgun Wedding. Both completely mediocre films.
Yeah, I'm not watching these films.
Yeah.
La La Land is now on Netflix, so gave that a rewatch, of course.
What's that?
La La Land, you've heard of it? It's like a Damien
you watched it
Chazelle.
yet?
It's like an
Yeah,
indie.
I'm telling you, right?
It's like an
I have to
A24
watch it
indie
now.
film. It's
Super underground.
Yeah, you should check it out.
I think I have to watch it now, to be fair, because it's on the. Well, I say I have to watch it on the collection. It's going to be on the collection. since
Joker
day one.
meme with
We'll get you to watch it one day.
yeah.
People message me about watching it now, and I'm just like, no, because I just want to annoy people, and people ask me all the time to watch it,
We'll get
and I
you to
probably
watch it
will
one day.
eventually.
You'll watch it
Eventually.
someday, but yeah, Joker
I'm
meme
gonna
with
watch
cigarette,
Doom.
you just wouldn't get it. Also watch House Party. It came out like I don't know 3 weeks ago. It's with where basically these guys are cleaners and they clean like upscale houses, like they're just hired out, and they're cleaning a house one day and they're like, there's a lot of Miami gear in here and Cleveland and LA stuff. Like this guy's just got to pick a city, and then they go in his closet and realize it's LeBron James's house, and then they're like, we got to throw a rager in LeBron James's house. It's like a stupid comedy.
I didn't know that's what that was about.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
so dumb.
And like it's just such a bad movie, but there's like a hologram in LeBron James's bedroom that's LeBron James himself, and it's like basically he gives himself reaffirmations every morning. It's like, you handled that decision to go to Miami perfectly. Just like all this just pro LeBron James propaganda. And the dumbest thing ever is he comes back, obviously, like finds out they're throwing this massive party in his house. And he's like, I'm going to call the cops on you. And then he's like, hold on, let me play you in one-on-one on basketball. And if I win, you just let me go. And then of course they play one-on-one and LeBron beats him 21-0 in the most embarrassing way. It's like, if your choice is you have to beat LeBron James on one-on-one or you go to prison, just drive yourself to jail.
Yeah.
I thought because in You People there's a scene where they think Jonah Hill's gonna be terrible at basketball, but then he's sick. But in a movie that is a LeBron James movie, there's no way LeBron James is gonna allow people to do anything. They're not. He didn't even allow a single layup. Every single time the dude took a shot, he just reached his hand up and took it away. He's like, you stupid
It's
idiot.
it's like a draft day. None of the NFL teams allow their team to lose. So when they're going through, if you've seen draft day at the end, they go through what happened to each team, and all of them get a little bit better.
Worked out well, yeah.
Yeah, everything works out, and it's LeBron was probably I'm not losing in one-on-one.
Yeah.
He's not even scoring a point.
But yeah, basically every LeBron James movie that comes out is propaganda, like Space Jam and House Party, just to make himself look better. Then watch the new Netflix documentary, Pamela, A Love Story. Very good documentary, just very sad, just brutal life. Watch To Leslie, the most contentious movie of all year. Very, very average, fine movie, very basic plot. Her performance is genuinely very good, but the movie itself is whatever. It's she basically wins the lottery, and then this all happens in the first 30 seconds of the movie. So it just shows her winning the lottery. It's oh yeah, on the news, my life's changed. It's gonna be so amazing. And then of course you pretty much can expect where it goes from there. She blows it all, becomes an alcoholic, and then she's trying to build her life back up.
Where did you watch it?
I watched it on. I rented it on Amazon Prime Video.
Sure.
That's a good one. That's funny.
And that is all for my movie watching.
Just a pause in your eyes, oh shit.
To be fair, I actually can rent it on Prime. I might watch it today.
I'm sure it's an option, but all right. Yeah, whoever's next, whether there's George, I don't know, Seth.
Makes me
George.
feel extra shit for purchasing Puss in Boots on YouTube for $24.99.
You purchased it?
Hell yeah, I wanted that movie, bro. That shit was.
Is
banging.
YouTube where you normally?
I
is
mean,
that,
yeah, that's awesome. But
Why
wow,
didn't
go
you
to the
watch it in
theater at
cinema,
that
man?
point.
You would have loved it.
I know.
It's
Listen.
been out for a while.
George,
Oh,
is
your
YouTube
shit.
where you keep your digital? Like, is that your digital movies? Is YouTube?
I have them all over.
Oh,
YouTube,
okay.
Amazon, Apple. It's literally just when I Google a movie, whichever one the first, like, you know how it gives you options.
Yeah, because it tells you the cheapest.
Yeah, exactly. Whichever one is the cheapest, that's usually when I go for.
And YouTube,
Smart.
$20 was the cheapest.
Yeah, it's not
Jesus
up. It's not up.
Christ.
It was either you
Video
rent
on
it.
demand.
You either rented it for $22.99 or you bought it for $24.99. So
Yeah,
at
we
that
had
point,
this discussion before.
That's
if it's a
always
pound,
the
if there's like a
worst.
pound difference, I'll buy it.
yeah, literally. So at that point, I was like, "Fuck it! If I really like this movie, I'm gonna eventually buy it." So like, I really liked it, so now I have it. I also watched Adamson Visuals, obviously, which is the Patreon selection of the week, which we will talk about in our other real quick episode. I went through my monthly rewatch of Dune, which I just do quite often now because it's really fucking good and I love that movie. Back-to-back Denis movies. Shout out one of the goats. And then Knock at the Cabin and Shotgun Wedding. It was actually only watched 5 movies this week actually, which is quite a slow week.
I only watched 2. So
we gotta
Happens.
step up. We gotta step up our game a little bit.
all right.
I'm trying to think of like what did I watch the other nights when I didn't watch? Maybe I
The
just didn't.
Batman, maybe?
No, I still would have logged it. I still would have logged it. Also, Dune is catching up to the Batman. I think this was my 7th log of
Yeah,
Dune.
but that came out. When did that come out? 21. When did it come out though? Was it?
Yeah,
Technically 21, and
This-
it's been streaming for
Yeah.
a long while.
this was my 5th log of Dune on Letterboxd, and I think that's only second to the Batman with 7 or 8. But Shotgun Wedding. My mom, shout out my mom if you're listening, love you. My mom finds everything hilarious. She was dying of laughter at that the Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie.
Yeah.
I literally remember just sitting in my room and my mom was cracking up, and I go out and I'm like, "What are you watching?" And she's like, "The Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie." She texted me the night that she watched Shotgun Wedding. She was like, "This was terrible."
No, it's funny.
in my head, I'm like, that is when you know a movie is truly bad, because that's a movie my mom should have loved. Like she
Damn.
loves just like, you know, funny shit that's just gonna make her hysterically laugh. It got a couple of chuckles out of me, but it was a bad movie.
Damn, I laughed.
But it's like
It was bad.
Even
I won't
she
lie.
mentioned it. Even my mom mentioned it. Like Jennifer Lopez did Hustlers, which I wholeheartely believe she should have been nominated for supporting actress at the Oscars for. And now she's doing like Shotgun Wedding. Like she has a
Marry
lane,
Me.
and I think and Marry Me. Like she's got to stop trying to do these like, you know, dumb comedies. She needs to stick to being like a sassy bitch on screen, because that's just what she's really good at doing. Because I thought Hustlers was great. My mom agrees. You know, Hustlers is a great movie. Jennifer Lopez is fantastic in it. But Shotgun Wedding just was not it.
Made me laugh.
And then we're gonna do a full review on Puss in Boots. So
Yeah,
I
we'll
won't
do.
talk about that right now. Peak in Boots,
Cool.
my fault.
That is right. That is right. But I watched a few things this week. I watched The Worst Person in the World, which was really good. I really liked that. George, I think you'll really like that. Have you seen that?
I've not. No.
I think
very
I feel
good
like
movie.
Yeah, Tyler, I know you really like it. George and Cam, actually, I think you both really like it.
I haven't seen
Passion of Joan of Arc. I watched Run Lola Run. I watched The Fablemans, which I liked. I didn't love. I watched Dogville, which George, you need to watch. It's amazing. Probably Nicole Kidman's best performance, I'm gonna say. The House that Jack built, which was fucking weird. Puss in Boots, which was
Peak.
probably the best, one of the best films I watched. One of the best films I've watched in a while. That's got into my monthly top 4. I loved it. Watched The Whale, which I'm still trying to articulate my thoughts, but I didn't like it. Have we all seen The Whale? Yeah. No.
I have not. No.
I'm going to be very intrigued to see what you think.
Did
Steve
you like
George.
the ending?
No.
Me neither.
Well, what are you referring to by that? Do you mean the final
I did.
2 seconds or the final
Yeah.
scene?
The final 2 seconds,
Okay.
and the final 2 seconds took away from the final scene. For
Agreed.
Me, but,
Unfortunately.
but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just like excited to see where George lands because Tyler. I think did you get a 4?
That
I
sounds
gave it
right.
a 4. Tyler,
It
gave
might
it
be like a
5,
low
but-
4.5.
or a 4.5. Sorry.
Okay, so 4.5. Cam, you 3.5. Me 2.5.
You have
George
4. I don't know.
I think you give it a 3.5, Cam.
It's so weird. I was talking to Victoria about this the other day, and I mean, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. I know it's like been nominated for a couple of adapted screenplay noms here and there, but I feel like no one's been talking about The Whale, like the movie itself. They're only really talking about Brendan Fraser's performance. Like,
that's the movie.
Yeah, that's the movie. But like, I haven't seen people praise the movie itself as being like this, revolutionary screenplay or whatever. It's just I think a lot of people are attracted to it just because it's Brendan Fraser giving a really transformative performance. And it's weird because I'm like very rarely seeing people praise the movie. It's like Avatar too. No one's praising the movie. People are just keep talking about box office numbers. And I feel
there are some that praise the movie.
Yeah, so
I will say Hong Chow is getting praised for The Whale.
She got
nominated for it.
He was.
I think Brendan Fraser was great. I think Hong Chow was like just as good, if not better.
I don't think that's that hard take, to be honest.
That's high praise.
She was really good.
Now, Brendan Fraser's my third best acting performance of the year, and I think Hong Chow was my fourth best supporting actress. So, maybe that's not a true take, but I'm throwing it out there right now.
Do you think Hong Chow has any chance of picking up supporting actress alongside Angela Bassett and Carrie Condon and Stephanie?
No, she's not going to win. She's probably fifth in that race.
Yeah,
if we're being honest.
But yeah, in terms of the film, honestly, obviously it's just an opinion, but aside from the fact I kind of thought it was quite cruel, I think it's and again, someone messaged me about this because I said this in my initial reaction on my story, that I thought it was like a spectacle around his pain and look how fat this guy is, rather than creating empathy for the character with an audience. That was kind of my main issue with it. And I also thought some of the lines were just not very good, and I think my 2.5 is mainly for the actual performances on screen. If Brendan Fraser and Hong Chow specifically weren't there, it really for me would have been like a 1.5. It was a completely.
Do you like Sadie Sink?
It's hard to like someone who's just a bitch.
Tyler's most hated character of 2022.
She's an ass, but I like
nothing. Nothing as an actress, but when you watch it, it's she's genuinely the most cruel character of the year, of the decade.
Yeah, she was fine, actress wise, but it's also hard to say that when it's she was just a fucking bitch. She was horrible to him.
Hey,
and then obviously I watched Incendie, whatever it's fucking called. Incendie, which we'll speak about. But yeah, I had a pretty good week in terms of watching stuff like that. I think that brings us across nicely. I think the first kind of major film is obviously Knock at the Cabin, which I cannot speak about, which is great. And obviously Cam, I don't think you watched it, but me, Tyler, and George did. We'll stick it to our resident M. Night biggest fan, George Carmy.
All right. First off,
M. Night discourse this
week. Too much M. Night discourse. It's hurting my brain. But can I just clarify? I don't hate M. Night. I have 5 of his movies rated a 3.5 or above. I think he's made some good films. I just also think he's made some stinkers, and I can't believe that's a take people want to threaten me about. But whatever.
Hey, George. Hey, George.
What, bro?
I think he's made some really shitty movies, and they're absolute shit. But he's a fine person, I'm sure. So
listen,
I'll back you up there.
He's a nice dude. He's a cool dude. Whatever. I love Split.
He could have pissed on tape, and I would have considered that better than The Last Airbender or After Earth. So there you go.
All right, but we'll I'm not harping too much on
Come after me, people.
Let's just talk about Knock at the Cabin. I like Knock at the Cabin. Genuinely, I've seen 8 movies this year. It's currently my number 1 ranked movie. I really like that. It's incredibly tight. It's a very locked in screenplay. It's just 7 people in a room. The entire time this movie was going on, in my head I was like, what is he gonna do? What is he gonna do that's gonna make me hate this movie? He's gonna do some typical M. Night fuckery that's gonna really turn me off. And it never happened. And I was actually genuinely really happy about that. I know, Seth, you saw the movie 3 or 4 days before I did. You were telling me that I was going to enjoy the movie for that reason.
Yeah.
And you are absolutely correct, because it was just a very dialed in screenplay. There were, Tyler, I know you argue that there really wasn't a standout performance, but I really like the performances across the board. I don't think any of them were revolutionary, but I think they just did what they needed to do. and that would just suck me in emotionally and really lock me into the screenplay. I think Dave Bautista is a really good actor.
Yeah, I agree. Like this debate needs to end now about wrestler actor because it is just.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought it was a debate, but like it's so odd, like seeing like musicians turn to actors, WWE wrestlers turn to actors, and a lot of them flop. Like Ice Cube is good, you know, he's good for what he needs to do. Yeah, in like stupid comedies, but like Dave Bautista can genuinely act, and it just truly shocks me. So I was really like blown away by his performance. I think he was just the standout of the movie.
Did you not think he was really good? What's his name?
Ben Aldridge.
It's not.
Yeah, Ben Aldridge was.
I think he was really good. Well,
listen, I think across the board, everyone like. I don't think there was a false note in the acting. I don't think anyone was genuinely bad. I think others stood out more than others, but there was no part of the acting that I disliked.
Yeah.
They did the most they could with bad dialogue, and yes, I'll get into it. I know a lot of people argue that the dialogue is, you know, bad on purpose. I truly just don't understand those arguments. Like, even if it was on purpose, like to me, it's still poor dialogue. I don't think this was as poor as it was in like The Village. I just watched The Village like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and the dialogue in that movie just really turned me off.
I'm surprised you didn't like The Village. I thought you'd like that one.
I thought
you'd have The Village over The Visit, but you have The Visit over The Village, don't you?
Listen, you know I'm a sucker for that found footage horror, man. So
yeah, I
thought The Village was so good. I remember watching that movie just like in bed, just creeped out like under my covers. And I was like, oh, this is a disgustingly horrifying movie.
I like that film.
Yeah. I really like that movie. So overall, 3.5 out of 5, which again, for an M. Night movie, that's a W. I walked out very pleased. I walked out very entertained. I like the fact that when I walked out, there was a lot of things up for interpretation, and maybe if we're getting into spoilers a bit later, we could talk about it. But, you know, I walked out and Victoria was asking me, oh, well, what did you think? Like, again, I don't want to get into spoilers, so I'm not going to say anything, but I like the fact that it made me talk. So 3.5 out of 5. #1 movie of the year so far.
What did Victoria give it?
I think she gave it a 3.5 out of 5 as well.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry.
She gave the Pamela Anderson documentary a 5 out of 5.
Interesting. Valid. I need to watch that, I actually want to. Just before I kick over to you, Tyler, it does surprise me. I know it's M9. I know people are like, not, this is the thing, like when we speak about this M Night discourse, people are like, oh, you hate him, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, George, you give him you give it a 3.5. A lot of people, even if they like the film, will just give it like a lower score because it's M Night. I feel like a lot of the time.
Yeah, but like everyone says, like it's my personal bias, like making me rate M Night movies lower than like what I should. It's like,
yeah, exactly, and you give it like, higher than the average score.
Yeah, like listen. I don't like The Happening. I don't like The Last Airbender. I don't like After Earth. What do you want me to say? You want me to lie and tell you they're good to your face? Like, no. If I don't like something, I'm going to tell you I don't like it.
Yeah, I definitely get it. I'm just surprised because I think, like I was saying before, like I said to you, this to me is his most sort of kind of straightforward thriller. There is obviously the M. Night thing there with his style and whatever, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. That's fair enough. But for me, this is like very accessible for his films. Like compare this to Old, for example. I'm surprised this is now as divisive as it seems to be anyway, because I've seen people hate this, I've seen people love this. I just think it's a straightforward, just a good thriller. It just does the job really well. Tyler, obviously I'll speak about it after. Tyler, what did you think?
Yeah, so of course, Knock at the Cabin's about Dave Bautista and his colleagues show up at a cabin remotely in the woods, and he tells this family, it's a gay couple and their adopted child, basically says you have to make a sacrifice, otherwise the world's going to end, and that's kind of how they start getting going. And then from there, it's almost like a true play, basically, because it takes place just in the house, and there's just a few people in there. Ben Aldridge and Dave Bautista, I definitely thought were the standouts. I didn't think anyone was aggressively bad, but the other ones I didn't really care for, like specifically Rupert Grint. I don't know. I feel like at times he sounded like he had the most normal American accent, and then he would go to like a Southern accent. So either one, he's just like not great at accents and not the greatest like actor in that respect. Or B, and this is probably what like the M. Night defenders would say, they'd be like, well, his backstory is actually very muddy. Like, he's in a bar in Boston, but also he says he works down in the South. So maybe he's been lying about his personality. So maybe really he's a normal American accent, but he's purposely trying to do a Southern accent to try and make it sound like he's not that same guy from the bar in Boston. So I'm like, that's just totally like an M. Night defender would say, because they're going to always find like an excuse.
That was very in detail. Have you seen that before? Because that was like a very...
No, because I'm just so in my head of like M. Night defenders that anything I can think of wrong, I'm like, what would they say to justify this? And that's what they would say.
I understand it. Yeah.
I feel like this whole movie is based on the tension and the claustrophobic atmosphere, and if that works for you, and it just didn't for me. Like I was at a screening on Tuesday. I was looking at my watch every 5-10 minutes. I was quite bored during the movie.
Really?
Yeah, surprisingly. Like my girlfriend loved it, and I know a lot of people love it. Well, she didn't like love it, but she liked it more than me. And I know pretty much everyone who sees it's like generally liking it. And like we said, it's his most accessible film. People say it's his most accessible film since Sixth Sense. I think it might just be his most accessible film, period. There's a lot of religious stuff in it, so that might... Is Cam like playing fetch with his baby right now? I don't even know, but
dog.
His baby.
I think he's on dog duty right now.
But yeah, so it was very accessible. It was very straightforward. I kind of wish there was a twist, and there's a couple... I don't know. There's a couple other things I want to mention, like if we get into like brief spoilers, and I'm not going to get into spoilers right now, but I just feel like my biggest problem is it just... I don't know if the... I don't know how to put this, but I feel like it didn't really respect the viewer much because it was so accessible. Like I feel like it was very obvious what the point and like the overtones and what story he was trying to tell here. And then like it's very obvious, and after that it just like slaps you in the face and just straight out like says it verbatim on the this is who we are. And I'm like, we got that, dude. Like I don't know. I just felt like it just was very ham-handed in its messaging.
Do you think that's a bad thing?
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Wait, are you spoiled? Nah. Let me know when we get to spoilers.
Okay.
I'm just going to give my thoughts on that.
The man who hasn't seen it says, before I say anything, I don't want to spoil. Go ahead, Seth. I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it a little bit more than you. I didn't love it, but I really enjoyed it. I will say, I think one thing that M. Night is stronger in like all his films, in my personal opinion, of course, is the camera work in his films. I think the shot selection, I think some of the shots in that, especially when he's, the chase sequence when he's like in the car and he's trying to get the gun, she's coming at him. Mm-hmm. That was intense. I really, really enjoyed that scene. I actually thought Rupert Grint was pretty good, but then again, I can't distinguish American accents that well, so you'll probably be better at that than me. I don't think he was a standout. I think, is it Ben Aldridge, did you say?
Yeah.
Ben Aldridge. Yeah, I think he and Batista were really good. I had a really good time with it. I think the ending, I was kind of expecting, when it ended, I was like, oh, so that was it then. Like, I kind of like knew that was going to happen, I guess. But I don't know if that kind of knocks it back, because then if he had have tried to do this really like absurd thing, would that have made me enjoy it a little bit less? I don't know. I think it just worked as pretty straightforward, which isn't what we're used to with him, because he does weird shit a lot of the time, which is... I'd worse for you don't. I think a lot of like M. Night fans, I'm assuming, might not like this as much as his other films, because it isn't as it doesn't stand out as much, does it? Like a lot of directors could have done this, maybe not with the camera work, but a lot of directors could have done this. But I really, really enjoyed it. I give it a 4 out of 5. We can touch on some spoilers if you want, if anyone wants to go into anything in particular. I'm assuming the ending will be the main talking point here. George, I know you said that you had a few ideas about the ending and stuff like that, so I'll kick it over to you first.
Yeah, no. So once they got into like the whole like 4 horsemen of the apocalypse stuff, I like fully.
Sorry, that's what I was gonna ask.
Okay.
So sorry, real quick, and then I'll mute again. I was gonna ask if like the big reveal was that they were like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, because I saw a video that's like on TikTok that was like, you may not understand, but these are actually the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Anytime there's 4 characters in a movie that has anything to do with God or anything like that, it's the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. There's nothing else with 4 people in the Bible. It's the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So that just really pissed me off, because I'm like, you saw the trailer and you knew that. So
yeah, and just to quickly just button
honestly,
that up for
to
you.
your point, I was a little like,
you're muted, Tyler. Sorry.
Oh.
I was just gonna say I was like a little like upset that I didn't piece that together faster, that they were the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. But at the same time, once they like revealed that, and being an M. Night movie, the only thing I could think of was This Is the End, that Jonah Hill comedy. and I was fully expecting some like dumb shit to happen where like the earth splits open and some monster with a massive donger pulls up or something.
I would love that though.
Like
man.
I was once they mentioned the four horsemen of the apocalypse, I was like, okay, where is this going? Like what sort of dumbassery is M. Night about to pull on his screen? And I just thought like, I don't even know if I would call it like a subversion of expectations, just because it's M. Night and like, you know, my expectations were, you know, for him to like do something like that. But I don't know. Once the four horsemen of the apocalypse came into the picture, I was like, okay, something dumb is going to happen. And then the question that, you know, me and Victoria were going back and forth with after the movie was, do we think they were truly the four horsemen of the apocalypse, or do you think they were just a suicidal pact on Reddit and everything that happened in the outside world was just a crazy coincidence? I guess that's for you guys to answer.
I think it was. I think they were. I don't know if this might be a one where there's actually not that much to it. Do you know what I mean? You're getting what you're getting. Like these are four apocalypse. Do you know what I mean? Like
exactly. It's very straightforward.
I think it's like what you said. Like with M. Night's film, especially this one, it is, you know, kind of down to your interpretation as to whether it was a crazy coincidence, whether they were just, you know, this crazy cult, whatever it was. But yeah, I'd probably lean towards just that is what it was. You know, that's who they were. Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, kind of like Cam mentioned, how like when there's four people in a story and it's a very, very religious story and apocalyptic, first your mind immediately goes four horsemen of the apocalypse. And then from there, you see all four of them have completely different personalities. So like one is like Rupert Grint is very much like savage, wants to kill, like not good in the head. He's like getting into bar fights. He's homophobic. He's, you know, just everything that's bad.
Rupert Grint in that role, because I feel like I look at Rupert Grint and I don't think of him like, you know, a guy who wants to kill or anything.
Were you muted like 10 minutes ago whenever we spoke about it?
No, I mean, like I heard you say you liked it, but I didn't hear anyone else's take. Just I didn't know what
he looked fine in the role. Like he just had a scraggly beard, like flannel.
I didn't know what kind of role he was doing, but I mean, this is just the Harry Potter effect. Every time I see Rupert Grint, I just think Ron.
I actually said that after I watched the film. I was worried that with Rupert Grint, it's not like Daniel Radcliffe where he's kind of managed to pave his own way, has he really? Mm-hmm. I see him in projects and I'm like, okay, it's Ron.
Right.
I actually didn't get that impact, which I think is an accomplishment in itself, because that's the character he's always associated with. I didn't feel that. I just thought it was quite good, to be honest.
But yeah, so going into it, when you see four people, you assume four horsemen of the apocalypse. And from there, each of them is very different. So you're kind of like, okay, like one's like the caretaker. She's the nurse. Oh, let me help you. Like, and like they all just like clearly start to go down the four different paths. And you're like, okay, clearly the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And then Batista's literally just like stares him right in the face. Like, we are the four horsemen of the apocalypse. I'm like, dude, we knew that from the trailer, guy. Like, I just felt like it didn't respect the viewer in that way. Like it was very ham-handed. And, but yeah, like I don't know. It was interesting because one thing you were touching on is like, are they actually the four horsemen of the apocalypse, or are they some Reddit group? And that's what I think was one of the good themes of this movie. Like a cool theme was there's a lot of groupthink. It's like, what do you actually believe? These people all met in weird circumstances, all from different areas of the world and different walks of life, but they all kind of came together. So that makes you immediately think like they're really into the apocalypse and they're just all a bunch of random people who don't know each other. Like they're probably just some, you know, people that met on some message board and started talking and their theories ran wild and they just got carried away. So the whole movie basically, and like as the apocalyptic events happen, it goes from like you can rationalize it maybe to less so, to like, okay, clearly like this world, like something's going on here. So since it kind of took that slow, gradual progression, you yourself as a viewer is kind of like, are they just like, you know, conspiracy theorists making stuff up, or like it's clearly the apocalypse happened? So I kind of like that part of it. The best part of the movie by far for me is it starts right away. Like right away they show up, right away it gets going.
Literally.
I totally thought this was going to be like they're going to be at the cabin for 20 minutes. Like there's some flashbacks of this, but like, you know, hanging in the pool, like drinking some lemonade, having fun. And like 20 minutes later, someone knocks on the door. Like I was going to
ask you actually, what did you two think of the use of the flashbacks, and did it kind of have an impact on you in terms of the emotional resonance of the story, connections at all? Did it just not do anything? Because I've heard both sides from many people.
It didn't do much for me, honestly. I don't think, as much as I enjoyed these characters and watched them, I think they're lack of depth just kind of prevented me from having a true emotional attachment to them. And I think that flashbacks try to do that so that when we get to that like final scene of like making a decision, it would have more of an emotional impact. But I don't think it served its purpose as well as M. Night maybe intended it to.
The only thing I did like about the flashbacks was the fighting, because I feel like I was like, okay, at least they explained that. Like the dude, because like early on he's like full on like doing 1-2 combos, piecing up this dude fighting them, and then I'm like, okay, so he's been training like for the past 7 years religiously fighting. So at least they explained that. That's the only flashback I was like,
just out of nowhere, he just becomes.
Yeah.
I mean, so many movies do that though, where like someone gets him. It's fight or flight, so all of a sudden I'm gonna come Conor McGregor. Like, okay.
Yeah. Not current Conor McGregor, prime Conor McGregor.
True.
No, he was better than Conor McGregor. Just want to throw that out there. Also, by the way, I did actually forget to mention this on my week. I watched UFC this morning at 6:30 in the morning. As in, I woke up.
Yeah, 6:30.
I've never seen anything like it because it was South Korean time.
Oh,
because for the Korean
fans.
It was meant to be in Korea, and then they couldn't schedule it in time. So instead, what they did is just had it in Vegas, but then had it at like George, like 3 a.m. like Eastern time.
So screws over the fighters.
Yeah, I know, it was really odd. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that
benefits no one.
It was, well, to be fair, it's because there was a lot of Korean fighters on the card, and obviously it helps them out, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, in terms of their fan base, their families, whatever. Yeah, I liked it because I got sleep beforehand, and I got to wake up and then watch it. Benefits me.
There was one thing I wanted to mention about the ending is, like, I get it, maybe there's like a cute scene, but like the ending with the car radio, I hated that, and I would punch my kid straight in the face.
Yeah.
I would be like, I sacrificed the wrong person. Like if you like the fact like even if I didn't just have to like, there's full on spoilers, okay, I'm sorry. Even if I didn't have to kill my partner, if my kid just in general, if I turn off the radio and my kid turns it on, even if my day is going amazingly, I'd be like, I'm not an abusive father, but you're testing me right now. And like the fact that like he literally just killed his partner, and freaking like his kid's just like, let's just keep playing music, and he's like, stop, I don't want this right now. And they just keep turning it on, turn it off. I get that it's supposed to be this emotional tug of war, like we go, like it's a cute song because we're remembering him, and like it's kind of putting a big bow on the story, but like I don't know. I was like, this scene's just kind of cheesy and annoying. They're trying to make this needle drop something cool, but it's
I drove home in silence after Son. You want to tell me that this man's got to put on some music after killing his husband or his partner? Like, come on.
Yeah,
also, when they told the little girl to go up to the treehouse so that they can like talk as the adults, I so expected a plane to just smoke that treehouse,
or like a lightning strike. That would.
Oh my god! I expected something to happen that was gonna like throw one of the partners over the edge and just pop one of them in the face, and I thought it was gonna be a plane melting that cabin or that the treehouse.
Yeah,
which would have been so funny, but so fucked.
But yeah, we liked it. 4 from me, 3 Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3.5 from George.
Look at that, all different. Someone commented saying we give every movie the same score, and none of us scored this one the same.
Can I say we score things differently all the time.
It's always me. The amount of comments I see that say, "Oh, you and Seth gave the exact same score." I'm like, just look at our letterboxes. Like, they're public. No, we don't.
It's a crazy one. We'll do it. I mean, we may as well go to Puss in Boots now. To be fair. Puss in Boots obviously came out dropped in the UK. George is now from the UK because he saw it with me, whatever. So it's amazing. It has no right to be this fucking good. The sequel just comes out of nowhere and just delivers this just emotional roller coaster. Remember, every character is memorable. It made me laugh. I cried. I didn't even cry at Pinocchio, and I'm crying at fucking Puss in Boots. It was just
it was more emotional than Pinocchio.
Yeah, but apparently most people cried at Pinocchio, and I cried.
You also know Pinocchio's story.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Like,
but it was just great. They just handled everything in such a way. George, you watched it most recently. What were your thoughts? I mean, I know your thoughts, but
yeah, I just watched it. When did I watch it? Last night?
Yes,
two nights ago.
2 nights ago, I think. Yeah,
this movie had absolutely no business being as good as it was. I truly went into this movie thinking, all right, everyone's just overhyping it. Everyone's
like a meme, like a Minions kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, all right, let's see what we're getting into. first shot, or one of the first shots of this movie, star comes down, smashes into the earth, and the animation on that, I had to rewind it to watch because I was like, that was gorgeous.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing.
Right there, that kind of set the tone for the animation style, which I absolutely love. There's a lot of anime inspiration in there, which I think is just brilliant.
Yeah, definitely.
Death. Oh my God, Death had no business going as hard as he did. The first
the bar scene is so good.
He just appears out of nowhere, and at first you think, all right, he's just another bounty hunter, and then he he points to the word death, and I'm like, wait a second, is he actually death? And then he's just like, it's one of those moments where this is such a strange comparison, but it kind of reminded me of the first time in The Dark Knight Rises where Bane and Batman fight, and Bane is just toying with Batman. Like, Batman's nowhere near Bane's skill level, and that's exactly what it felt like when Death and Puss in Boots were going at it for the first time.
Because you're not used to seeing him lose and stuff.
Exactly.
Like that.
You're used to, he just got done singing a song that he's like this macho man, like no one beats him, he's still alive, blah, blah, blah. And then this guy pulls up in just like this dark cowl out of nowhere and just toys with him. And I thought that was such a brilliant introduction to his character. It really set the tone for the rest of the movie. There was no need for that one scene where he puts the coins in his eyes and points at Puss. There was no need for that scene.
So good.
Like if I were 7 years old, this movie is giving me nightmares. But again,
it's the whistle thing, like it's frightening. It's scary.
It would always be just when you forget about him too.
Exactly. Like they're just going on this journey, and every so often you just hear this whistle, like fuck
in the
this
corner.
dude.
I
forgot this dude was still here. But no, like Seth said, it was so emotional. Everything about this movie was just unnecessary. It was unnecessarily emotional. The score was unnecessarily hard. The characters were unnecessarily fleshed out. I loved everyone. I stupidly didn't realize that was Goldilocks and the Three Bears until
come on.
Literally, I looked at Victoria and I was like, how the fuck didn't I piece that together?
I think they were so funny.
They were hilarious.
I can't remember the last time I laughed. I get annoyed when people do this, but I couldn't help but laugh out loud in the cinema. I think it was so funny.
Olivia Colman, since when does she do these roles?
She's her and Florence Pugh and Ray Winston, who was the dad. I can't remember the son.
Florence Pugh was great. But yeah,
they were just so good. They were just brilliant. I loved it.
I love the whole movie. It was 4.5 out of 5. It's in my top 10 of 2022, and maybe that's
it would be in my top 10.
But
no, it'd be in my top 10 definitely.
I like I said, I bought it, so I'm gonna rewatch it eventually. I loved it. I loved it so much.
I think it's. I'm talking about it. I think it's gonna go up to a 5 for me because what did I not like? I loved it. Cam, you said I'd give it a 3.
No, I said 3.5 because I said I think you'll think it's a 4, but I know what your opinions on animation are. Normally,
my opinion. No, it's not that. It's just that
You said you don't connect with animation all that well, much. I said I think you'll maybe think it's around a 4, but it'll drop to maybe a 3.5 just because you don't connect with it as much, which is fine. But I will say, for Tyler and I's sake, I'm a little disappointed that you thought we would be sitting here spreading a meme like Minions being good, and you didn't give.
No, that was more. It was more because it was more the reaction when it.
I'm
first
just saying
came out.
the respect given. I know you couldn't watch it, but George didn't give it the respect it was deserved, and this movie's a fucking banger. Tyler, did we already talk about this, Tyler? We already gave our little,
2 months ago.
I think I think we gave it when it came out. It's just it's a good movie. I want to rewatch it. 87 out of 100. No, 86 out of 100. Sorry.
So just at the 4.5 kind of level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I dropped Pinocchio. So it's I have Shrek and Shrek 2 higher than it, and then that's the highest.
I honestly, I'd have it higher than Shrek 2.
I have this as the best Shrek universe movie.
No, I'd have Shrek 1 higher.
I also haven't seen the Shreks in a while. So
yeah, I don't know. I won't harp on it too long, but this movie handles anxiety so well.
The panic attack scene.
Yeah,
I've never seen we get that in how like we get panic attack scenes in so many films. It's handled in a Puss in Boots film that fucking well. It's just, it just did everything. I think this film is just going to age as a classic in animation. I truly believe that. I think this is, it's the best animation that I've seen since Into the Spider-Verse. I'd even have it around the same level, in my opinion. 100%. I loved it. I think it's going to age really well. I think really well. I don't think this is recency bias at all. I think it's going to age really, really well.
I think so too. Sorry, no, you got it.
I was gonna say it's one of those films. Like I very rarely leave a film where I like am eager to watch it again immediately. Yeah. Second that movie finished, I was like, we gotta like run that back ASAP, like tomorrow maybe. Like it's one of those movies where it's just like I want to watch it again because there was just so much going on, so much brilliance happening. And then that animation style, I will never get over it. It was just so gorgeous to look at.
The fight scenes were very anime, weren't they? It looked great. The fight scenes just looked so good. Which I'm sure you enjoyed specifically, George, because you love that shit.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. It was. Victoria even pointed out when we were watching it, especially in like that bar scene. It was most prominent where, the central focus of every scene was like pure animation, and everything around it looked like a painting.
Yeah.
That is super anime, and that's just like it's like a small like attention to detail that I love. Like you have the effort to just really pay attention to like everything going around in the scene, not just the focal point of it. So yeah, I loved it. I think I don't think it's the best animated movie of this decade. I have it at number 2. I still think the Mitchells vs. the Machines is better.
I haven't seen that, to be fair.
So good. But I will say it might be the best looking animated film.
Was considered for that.
For what?
Best animated movie of the decade since 2020 or like
no,
in the last
2020.
Okay.
This current decade.
That's fine. That's fair.
And then I think it's the best animated looking animated movie since Into the Spider-Verse. Right there with
it just starts off as like I don't know. It's not even just for an anime movie, but it just starts off so intensely because for me, Puss in Boots, the character of just like this cocky swordsman, is like great and fine for a side character, but I don't really want to watch a whole 2-hour movie of this like cocky animated cat. So the fact that they made him so cocky in the beginning, like like George was saying, like singing a song like this guy can never die, and then just immediately like death shows up. He's like, "You're on your last life, buddy, but let me just like end it right here, right now." They get in a fight.
I love the 9 lives. Just
it's
like
such a
so good. Death works him and then draws blood and like slices off some of his arm hair, and I'm like, holy shit! Like I'm like chills. And then from there on, like Puss is just scared. He has anxiety, and like I love that version. Like his back's up against the wall, 1 life left, and just goes on that journey. Kitty soft paws, like just such a good movie. And the final death scene is so sick. Like he just rips his 2 scythes, and it just creates a ring of fire. Like. Just such an intense, epic movie. Like, just so good. It's going to age really well.
We haven't touched on the little dog as well. He was so cute. Perito.
Perito. I'll be honest. That shit hit of Puss having his panic attack and the dog just laying his. I'm a big dog guy, as you guys probably can see, and like I can't tell you how many times I've probably just sat with my dog Izzy after like maybe a bad day or something, and like
they just come over to you.
Yeah,
that
just like. Hit so damn hard. Also, the funniest character in this movie for me, or one of the funniest, was the like Jiminy Cricket ethical bug character. That was on Jack.
The ethical bug was so funny.
Oh my god!
I couldn't stop thinking of Ewan McGregor from Pinocchio every time I saw that. I was like, it would have been jokes if you just had him voice that character.
Yeah. Was that the one that was voiced by John Mulaney?
No, John Mulaney was Jack Horner.
Yeah,
was it Jim Gaffigan? Was that because Jim Gaffigan was? There was like a lot of comedians that were voice roles. I thought.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out.
I didn't actually know.
Anyway, disregard that.
Ethical.
Yeah, he was very funny. He was really good.
I'll find it. You guys keep talking. It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the spoilers. Do we really need to do spoilers with this?
No, I don't think we do. I think.
Yeah,
but I will say one thing though, like I didn't know that Shrek universe was going to continue before going into this. So the ending for me was a complete surprise.
Are they making another Shrek? Is that?
Yeah, I thought it comes out this year.
No, these are all prequels. Isn't Puss in Boots prequels to the Shrek universe?
No, because they have they have a little seat. No, this is not.
No, because Shrek's in the seat. Shrek does a cameo, isn't it? Doesn't it?
No. That's his life flashing before his eyes.
Yeah. So
it's his.
So seeing Shrek, you don't see your future when your life flashes.
Yes, you do. That's your life.
No, you see your past.
No.
Hold on. How many times it happened to you, George?
No, yeah, George. No, I'm gonna be honest, George. Everything's subjective. You're objectively wrong in this situation. You're not.
If you see the future when you're about to die, I might start tempting fate a bit. Because that's tempting.
Trying it, testing it.
No, man, he's going back to see his old friends in Far Away.
No, you see loads of them. Yeah.
No, dude, I'm sorry to say you're not correct in this situation.
Wait. Here, I have the official answer. Chronological order of all Shrek movies: Puss in Boots 1, Shrek, Shrek 2, Shrek 3, Shrek Forever After, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
What?
And then Shrek 5 is coming out 2024. It got delayed.
That's crazy. I could have sworn.
I didn't know there was another Shrek movie.
The Shrek 4 was not good.
No, neither was Shrek the Third, in my opinion.
I didn't mind Shrek 3.
I think when I said this a while back, and I said it in my review, and I'll keep saying it, when Shrek's humor hits, it really hits. It doesn't hit every single joke, but like just making fun of other fairy tales like has me dying. Like we mentioned, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Like their jokes were so funny, and then like. So funny. I had no clue who the fuck Jack Horner was before, to be completely honest. No, I didn't know that fairy tale or that kid's story, but just like the jokes that they make around fairy tales.
I like when he was walking on the bridge of the people, on the chefs when they just like lie down and make.
It's
so funny.
I still think now that all four of us have seen it though, it's so funny how Eddie Murphy's like, man, Puss in Boots like got so much money and is doing so well, but I'm a lot funnier. I'm like, did you watch the movie? Like the comedy is not why people.
Donkey's funny or
Donkey, yeah.
Donkey
it's like
funnier,
do we think that Donkey? I love Donkey, but do we think that he could really?
I don't know what his movie would be. Just like him and.
It'd be like a Tow Mater movie. It would be in the Cars universe, like something I just don't need to see.
Yeah,
no, because Tow Mater sucks in the Cars movies too,
I don't know that
and Donkey's funny at least in the Shrek movie.
Yeah, but comedy's not why Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is so successful.
Credit. Oh, I'm not arguing.
Yeah,
I'm just saying give Donkey a little
it's funny,
more credit.
But that's not why
him in Tow Mater. Fucking hell, Larry the Cable Guy has a car.
I apologize.
We'll move on to the other review, and we'll just touch on obviously the last was episode 3. I mean, this has got just a crazy amount of praise, and in my opinion, deservedly so. I know Tyler hasn't watched it yet. He's been that guy who did what I did, is just wait until the end of the season to watch it all in advance. But Cam, I'll throw it to you first. What were your opinions on episode 3?
This is my favorite episode of the season. I've been, obviously it's getting review bombed because it's about a gay couple. Sorry, Tyler, to ruin that, but he will have seen that. Yeah, you've seen that already. If you didn't know that already, but this, in my opinion, is the best episode. I understand I didn't play the video games. There are some people who maybe are not, who aren't homophobic and maybe didn't like it because it was a stray from the game, and maybe they just want to see the game. But at that point, just go play the game, And it might not be my place to say because I haven't played the game, but like it's okay to stray away a little bit. You don't need to see the exact same thing put on screen, and I think that's a lot of do a lot of the cutaways. I did end up watching the cutaways of the game. It just kind of felt like one of those things where
did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched all the
cool.
cutscenes. It felt like one of those things where I had to, I don't know. I didn't like being out of the know, but I understand wanting to pay homage to the game and make a couple scenes that are exactly like the game. That's fun. That's fun details, but the entire show does not need to be, hey, here's the game, but look, it's live action, so I liked that they
you can give praise to both it being a faithful adaptation, and I think like this did a wonder for Bill's character. We barely saw anything in the game. Obviously, you played it, but you've seen the cutscenes. We barely. Yeah. I find the homophobic comments so funny. It's like, why are you making a character gay? So woke. He was literally gay in the game.
Yeah.
He literally says that he hints towards so many times that he's gay in the game, which is hilarious.
Yeah, and I've seen people are like, yeah, but in the game his partner's dead, and it's like.
So
okay, but he's dead in this. He's dead in this movie too, or in this show too. Now you just got to see what their life was like
which is
before.
Even better.
Like,
they furthered the story and had us understand what he went through.
And also,
people who played the game should think that's better because you're seeing the backstory because of it.
And maybe they wanted to see Bill like more. I don't even know. Like you saw Bill a ton, and I don't know.
To be fair, did you guys see the Jacob Stevens video? Like he did a video on why he didn't like episode 3 and it got like George Black Panther video, nothing on this. Not like seriously, he got crazy. He actually made some good points, and I didn't agree with them, but like I can understand some people not liking it, just to the point where it's like
it's fine if you don't like it. I'm not calling everyone homophobic who doesn't like it. Like it's more the fact that this is the highest rated episode on IMDb, and most of them are 1 out of 10 stars. Like that's the homophobic people. Like if you don't like it, that's like it's
if you're giving like a 1
like the episode. But if you're just going on IMDb to give it a 1 because you're pissed off that they had these characters be extreme, like show off their gosh, I can't even think what
love, sexuality.
Yes, show off their sexuality. Like, and if you're on IMDb and that's what you're pissed off, that's homophobic. Like if you make a video and you
watched it as well,
if you make a video and you give like, hey, I didn't like it because I like the game, I'd like a faithful adaptation. These characters were good, but I have a little issues with how the story, how slow the story was maybe in the episode. I don't know. That's fine, but it is still getting the reception of like review bombed and stuff.
Did it make you cry?
Which sucks. Did it make me cry? No, I haven't cried in like. You know me. Nothing makes me cry.
George, did it make
emotional?
Anytime On the Nature of Daylight comes on, you're getting a tear out of me. I don't care what the situation is. The second I heard that song come on, I lost it. Yeah.
Yes. I can always rely on George to be a little bitch to save myself. It's great.
It's also like they didn't stray from the game that much. They go to Bill's to get a car. And in this, they go to Bill's and get a car. Like
one thing we didn't touch on though, which actually I do understand, is there's a really, really good part in the game, which is Ellie, Bill, and Joel when they go through the school, like a high school, and then they face a bloater and whatever, like the really big, the ones a year old. That is actually an amazing thing. So I would have really liked to see it in the TV show. So that kind of criticism, I'm like, okay, fair enough.
Okay,
you know what I mean? We missed that
That's
scene,
fine.
whatever. But yeah, George, what was your opinions on it? Or Cam?
I loved it. I still think the first episode is my favorite just because I love seeing like the introduction to this world, but I loved it. I heard there's a 2-hour cut of episode 3.
Yeah.
If you give me a 2-hour cut and if the quality upholds as well as the entire episode did, that's one of the greatest romance movies I've ever seen. And I don't think like that's a stretch to say. That's how good of an episode it was. In just 50 minutes, they locked me into these 2 characters I had no business falling in love with. And then they broke my heart at the end, and it was absolutely absurd.
Yeah, and I said I don't know if this is a hot take, but this is one of the better like on-screen romances I've seen in a long while. Like,
which is even. Sorry, go on.
No, you're good.
I was just gonna say it makes it even more impressive. I was like,
exactly.
It was like 70 minutes, like an hour 10.
Yeah.
To get like a connection.
And they were only like, they were only like 45 of that hour 10.
45 of that, yeah. To get a connection with like a couple in that time is crazy. It's such an accomplishment to have that. But yeah, like obviously new episode drops.
Great show.
It's Sunday for you, isn't it? Well, yeah, it stops like 2 a.m. for us, which is annoying.
Tonight.
Yeah. Go on to the news now. Obviously, we've done a few of the reviews. We didn't get like much news this week. There wasn't a crazy amount. Obviously, we did get the DC announcement, James Gunn DC announcement, which unfortunately I couldn't be there for because you recorded it at like 1 a.m. Eastern, I think, something around those lines, which is way too late for me, or early. So if you do want to check out, obviously, all the stuff that George, Tyler, and Cam spoke about on there, we did drop. It was over an hour, wasn't it? The episode.
Yeah, just about
an hour 10.
Dropped to that, which has got really good feedback from what I've seen so far, which is great. But in terms of the news, Gladiator 2 releasing November 22nd, 2024, which for me is earlier than expected. I'm looking forward to it. Avatar 3 will focus on the Ash people, a more aggressive volcanic race of Na'vi. I don't know how to say her name. The one who plays the lead, is it Una?
Is it Una Chaplin?
Una Chaplin.
Who is indeed the granddaughter of Charlie Chaplin. One of those things, like you see the last name, you're like, probably not, right? Probably not related. But then I Googled, I was like, oh, granddaughter of Charlie Chaplin. Cool.
Wait, genuinely? I thought it was a joke.
No, genuinely.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is interesting. Oh, okay, cool. Barbarian director Zach Cregger's new horror Weapons will begin filming in July. It's described as a multi-story horror in the vein of Magnolia, which is, I mean, if it's anything like Magnolia, we're in for a fucking winner, but I don't really believe that, if I'm honest with you.
Do you see how much like they paid for this?
No, how much was it?
It's like 38 million.
38 million, and Jordan Peele wanted it super bad and was in the bidding war, and he lost the auction and fired his manager immediately for losing the auction.
His manager also manages Zach Cregger, to be fair. So, I think the manager was kind of a win-win situation.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
Either way, he's getting fired by someone.
Yeah, exactly. So Peele fired him,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting. But it's like one of the most expensive bids on a movie ever, or
especially horror, I'll imagine.
Yeah.
Well,
but
Barbarian turned out to be such a.
People love it.
Yeah, I don't think it's too soon to call it a cult classic, but it's one of those films where it's like
it will be. Yeah, it will
you've
be.
seen how absurd this filmmaker could be. Like, let's just see what else he can do.
Mm-hmm.
As long as he does something stupid, and I'll definitely watch it. I'll probably enjoy it. That's really it for the main TV and movie news this week. Nerd news: James Mangold is in talks to direct Swamp Thing. I think this news came out after you did the ReelTok. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like the next morning.
Oh, is it okay? Any thoughts on this at all?
Yeah, I mean, this is the man that did Logan, so he's clearly capable of like dark and gritty, and I don't know if you guys have ever read Swamp Thing graphic novels, but that's the tone of them. Like this is where they could push horror as best as they can, and I know Logan never really pushed the horror boundaries, but it was was it an R-rated movie? I don't know, but if it wasn't, it was definitely an R-rated movie.
Oh, really?
I completely forgot.
There's some tatas in it.
Yeah, I completely forgot. But if there's one like existing filmmaker that has like tackled comic book movies that can take care of Swamp Thing as well as I think they can, it's James Mangold.
Is he's the one doing the Indiana Jones 5, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what else he's done.
And last two things really. Batista obviously came out and said he could be interested in playing Lex Luthor. What do you guys think about this? Because he said he obviously wants to kind of move away from the MCU and do more kind of dramatic roles. Do we see Lex Luthor in the same vein as the MCU, or is that a completely different thing where it is more of a dramatic role? I don't really know too much about it.
It's definitely different from
Drax.
But like, is it straying away to where we think he wanted to go? In terms of.
I mean, I don't think necessarily like. I'm an MCU guy, so I'm gonna try to defend it. I don't think necessarily like going to the DCU is a step up, but I definitely think moving from Drax to Lex Luthor is a different role. Right now, he's in a role where he's just being funny, doesn't really need to act. He kind of.
But would he not be like locked in for that again, and then he'd kind of maybe
probably
regret that down the line?
It's less. Tolling on your body. It's not going to be an action role. I'm pretty confident. It's probably less screen time. So maybe you can pop in once in a while. Especially once you get outside of one like Superman movie. I assume he'd be like maybe he's the puppet master of like a different movie, but that's not the main villain. And then maybe outside of one Superman, I don't know how often you do Lex Luthor. If I'm not. Maybe they try it a couple times, but I think he'll have more time if he did it.
He's a main player in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
No,
I think this would be a cool role for him because I don't know if he wants to leave like superhero roles. I just think he wants to leave.
Maybe that's just what I got from it, I guess.
Yeah, he just wants to leave Drax. And I think Lex Luthor is a perfect opportunity for him to like stay in the superhero side of filmmaking, but also be able to stretch his acting abilities. It's kind of like Josh Brolin and Thanos, where like he is in the MCU, more so comedic universe, but he is 100% serious. Like, Thanos isn't cracking jokes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good opportunity for Josh Brolin to be able to still act the way he wants to act and like stretch his acting ability, but he's in a large, superhero franchise.
Mm-hmm. Same with Cable. Deadpool.
Yeah, same with Cable and Deadpool. Exactly.
Also, we don't need to get into it like at all, but Dave Bautista would be a better Hugo Strange, which if you're a comics fan, he'd be a good Hugo Strange. Bueno. but no, Hugo.
How old is he now? Like 54?
I'm gonna say
That's my guess.
late 40s, maybe.
Late 40s. That might be more accurate. He didn't quit the WWE until like 7 years ago.
On the dot, 54.
Wow. Look at
Really?
that.
He's in his mid 50s.
I'm just used to people being old. Well, because the thing is, like, he looks younger, but the fact that he says, like, it's so hard for his body to be, like, cut and stuff. Like, I feel like people who have all the resources in the world, like actors and professional celebrities, like, in their 40s can still manage that, but 50s is when it starts falling off. And that's why, like, in the Guardians Galaxy holiday special and the upcoming one, like, he's wearing a jacket. Like, Drax is a shirtless guy. But he's not shirtless anymore in the MCU because he just can't get his body to that anymore. Which is why I'm confused with Glass Onion. Like, I wonder if that was filmed longer ago than it had to be filmed before Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special. Because he was cut in Glass Onion, obviously. He was shirtless, barely wearing anything. But then, you know, like, I mean, obviously he has a way better body than I'll ever have. But, like, in, like, the more recent Guardian stuff, he's wearing a jacket. You can clearly tell. And then same with Dune. You can clearly tell from his neck, like, he's not the wrestler Dave Bautista.
I bet he can. I bet he can get in shape for a movie if needed. But I'm gonna guess it's a tolling experience that he doesn't want to go through. Every time.
Maybe that's what he had to do for Glass Onion.
I mean,
and that's what made him finally say, like, I can't do this anymore. He's like,
also,
I can't.
Like, 40 years of steroid abuse is gonna do that to your body. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
The guy's head looks like a swollen ball.
His head's rough.
Crazy.
That was the first thing my girlfriend said in Knock at the Cabin. She's like, "Oh, his head is just hard to look at."
I could not stop staring at it. It was tough to see.
Great guy, though. We do like him.
Before we move on off of DC, I'm just going to bring it back to James Mangold because I forgot he did 3:10 to Yuma, Ford v Ferrari, and Walk the Line. This dude's a damn good director, man.
Oh, he did do Ford v Ferrari.
Can do very good
this dude's a damn good director.
Do you mean Le Mans 66? Isn't that the American? Is that the American?
No, that's.
Oh no, because you wouldn't have Le Mans 66.
We did Ford v Ferrari.
Yeah, of course you did.
Oh, is the original title Le Mans 66?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to make it a little bit, easier, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't have known who these car people were if they didn't.
Ford versus Ferrari absolutely is to appeal to like Southern Americans, like south of America.
I'm just saying he's a damn good director.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He is.
Fair enough. Last bit of news: Star Wars Visions Season 2 releases May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. I don't know.
Now he's getting it.
Nice.
Yeah, see that.
That's good, fucking awesome, man.
Any thoughts on this before we move on? I don't really know what it is, to be honest.
They got a lot of good. They got a lot of good animators working on Season 2 as they did Season 1. It's Star Wars shorts in in different animated forms, and they just let a bunch of different studios create a short. They're good. I like Star Wars Vision not as much as I like George, but I like it.
Okay, fair enough. We shall move on to the draft of the week, and a draft that we were all surprised when I said it that we haven't done before because it's a pretty obvious one. It's going to be the top 5 animated feature-length films of all time, whichever you want to choose. It's going to be a snake draft, as usual, of course. The order for this is Cam first, George second, Tyler third, and then me fourth. Cam, do you want to kick us off with your first pick? And I definitely know what that's going to be. I think we all do.
Yeah, I'm pandering this week. I'm pandering. So I'm going with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
That's not pandering. That's your favorite.
No, it's not.
Lion King is your
favorite?
favorite?
No, sorry.
No, yeah, it's probably my favorite. It's not my highest rated.
But still, if it's not your favorite, it's in your top 3, so I wouldn't call it a pandering pick. Pandering is going deep.
I'll let you off
it's
with that
more
one.
pandering than if I took Lion King. That's what I meant. I meant.
Lion
Lion King is my highest rated animated. It's one of my favorite movies. But yeah, I'd say Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is probably higher in my favorites. And, I may or may not have made my top 10 favorite movies of all time. And might have been higher, so I'm not pandering. I take that back. But I think it'll get more votes than The Lion King.
Cool.
My man don't pander.
George?
It's on the board, so I'm going to take it. What I consider to be the greatest animated film of all time, Spirited Away.
No, you twat. Damn. It's annoying.
It's a great movie.
Those are the first 2 I had listed, so far I'd say this draft is going chalk, about as expected.
Tyler?
Pretty happy I got Spider-Man. Very happy.
I'm happy for you, Cam.
Thank you.
Truly.
Let's see.
I'm trying to be strategic this week because I think I can get some movies late that I really like.
Yeah, we'll see.
I kind of feel the same. I don't really know where to go early because I feel like a lot of the stuff I want I can kind of get. But I'm going to go with You know what? I'm just gonna go Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. We were talking
No,
about
wow.
it.
was
You're
my-
going
that was
to
my
get votes.
second round.
That's a
Oh my God, you're a
That was my second
scum.
round.
wow. You're going to get votes for that, and that's a beautiful like tactic pick. Two claps.
I don't know. I'm just not as high on the classic animated as I think like Cam especially is.
man.
Oh God, I really thought I can get that.
That was
like,
my pandering pick
fourth
this
or
week as
fifth
well.
round. That's so crazy.
I wouldn't have drafted it at any point if I wasn't like.
If we weren't reviewing it
look,
this
if
week,
we
I
weren't
probably
looking
wouldn't
for
have
votes.
picked it. But like we talked about it so much
might
that
have done,
it's
it's
just
probably
in my
high
head.
in my list.
Probably high on yours.
All right, Seth.
I mean, I'll go Ratatouille, obviously, as my
Yeah.
first pick, and then
I'll
my
get
second
That'll
pick.
get you the overseas vote, no doubt.
My second pick. I'm gonna go Your Name. That's a 5 out of 5 for me.
That's a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I like.
I don't
that
know if
pick.
a lot of people have seen it though. I don't know.
I think Your Name is like very popular. It might not be, but I think
Not as popular as Spirited Away, but it's up there.
No, but not like far.
I like that pick. I like that pick.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Back to
Okay,
me.
so-
I'm gonna go. Wait, you picked 2, right? So does me.
Yeah,
I wanna
yeah,
jump
yeah.
in. I'm gonna go with Incredibles.
That was on mine. That's my
Great
yeah.
pick,
I
great pick,
love
great
The
pick.
Incredibles.
There's still so many good movies on the board, though. I wouldn't be mad with
Yeah,
any of these.
I wouldn't be upset. It doesn't matter. I'll take it just because it's still on the board, and I think it'll do well with votes. And I'll take The Lion King.
Damn it! I didn't.
Oh,
think
I was
you
waiting for
picked
Cam to be like, I can't believe it came back to me.
I didn't really. Yeah, I honestly, I thought I could get it like third, fourth round, maybe. On
That's a little ridiculous. To
I-
think you're gonna
I-
allow
I
that
have-
third.
I have
guess it
movies
is in
rated
your top
above it.
10 or top
Yeah.
11 now, I guess.
It's
But
my number 11, but I think it'll do better in votes than like a Silent Voice or something.
so there's one I'm gonna wait on and see if. Do I want to wait on it? I'm gonna go with round 2. I'm gonna go with Coco, which isn't my highest, but I do want it, and I think it'll do well.
It's my highest rated all time.
Really.
Really? And you didn't take it first pick?
This game's not. There's levels to this
Yeah,
game.
yeah, and
I
you know
guess.
you gotta.
I thought
when I-
to me, I didn't know. I didn't think. I thought I could get Coco with the next pick. I didn't think.
And then
Cam would
I'm
take
also going to come back with another that I think I'm going to piss George off. And
Don't
so
do it,
it's
don't
just
do it,
tit
don't
for,
do it,
it's a
don't do
tit for
it.
tat. I'm going to take the Inside Out.
Yeah, I would not have had that. That'll get votes. People love that shit.
Seth's
I mean,
disdain
all
for
the
Inside Out.
all the movies I'm picking right now are 5 out of 5, so I'm pretty happy with.
Yeah,
it.
there's still so many.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
great ones.
there's so many just chilling on my board right now. My next pick, God, I just want this movie to get the respect it deserves.
Don't do it.
I don't know if it'll do well with it's. Trust me, it's nothing you're picking. So
Okay, that's fine.
I'm gonna go Batman: Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Wow, that's a
Yeah,
good
fair
pick.
People like that film.
I think that'll get you votes, man.
I don't think that'll get me votes, but
Really?
Isn't that the most popular one though? I see people watching that quite often.
It's-
Pretty sure.
It's probably
yeah,
Or the
it's
highest
my-
rated one anyway.
It's my third highest rated animated superhero movie.
it's probably up there.
Okay.
It's my pick, right? So I'm kind of interested in what Seth was worried that George would take. But
Yeah,
I don't
me
think
too.
I'll be taking it either.
I think I know what he's talking about.
I don't. Oh, actually, I do.
I'm
I
torn
don't
between
know.
3 here, so I'm hoping
Oh.
one of them Seth will pick, so I can have my decision come easier on the turn round. But I'm gonna go with Wally.
Wow.
Wally.
That's a vote, so people love
Wow.
Wally.
Take
don't
it. Take
Go
it.
on.
You can have Wally.
they? Okay, I'm gonna go Grave of the Fireflies.
Yeah,
That's the one I thought. That's the one I thought George was going to take.
I
This-
thought George was gonna take that.
Yeah.
And then
I'm gonna take it too.
there is so many Pixars that could come in right now, but I'm not sure which to go for. I might just keep it classic. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go Toy Story 1.
Thank you.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Toy Story 1.
I was between 2 for my next one. I needed you to pick.
That's
one,
my
so
favorite Toy Story. I know people like the third, but I like the first. That's my favorite.
First is a
Tyler?
classic. I'm gonna go with Up.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Really?
Fuck up.
Wow.
I
I like up, but
people
fuck up.
love it, don't they?
Yeah, I mean,
I
people
don't
do
know.
be loving up. That's not
But
what I,
I
thought
think
you were
people
going there.
love the first 20 minutes of it, and then they forget everything.
It's all
that's
you
happened.
need for it to stick
The
in their brain.
first
for
20
votes.
minutes is my least favorite part. Cry porn in an animated movie. Fuck that old married couple.
All right. Well, Jesus. My fourth pick. I'll just take Toy Story 3.
Fuck.
Yeah, that was good answer.
Yeah, I feel that would have to be.
Any Toy Story is valid. Maybe not the fourth, actually.
Yeah.
I'd still say any is valid.
Yeah, any is
Yeah,
valid.
I mean, votes wise, a lot of people don't like
Anything
it.
but Lightyear.
I haven't seen it.
It's shit.
Can't pick Marmaduke. Pick Marmaduke.
That'll get votes.
Guys,
That'll
I
get
think
votes.
this week I'm really gonna stray and
Oh,
not
God.
be. I'm not gonna be faithful to myself, and
Don't
I'm
say
okay with that.
Please don't. You don't ruin a good draft.
No, I think I'm gonna make my
No, he's
draft
pandering.
better.
Okay.
That's what he said.
I'm
Good.
not gonna
Okay.
be faithful to myself. I
Thought it was
I'm
gonna be-
faithful. So I'm gonna go with in the fourth pick. Now I gotta think.
Building.
I'm gonna go with the Lego Movie, which we do consider.
People
it.
love that.
It definitely is an animated movie, but for some reason in my mind, like it just not like I never think about when I'm thinking
it's because
animated, it would never
didn't
pop
get the
up.
respect it
I thought you were
deserved.
saying the other Lego movie because I know people love that one.
The Lego Batman one, or
Yeah.
They go back.
Okay.
Names.
I'll go back to respecting myself a little bit. I'm gonna take Soul. I do love Soul.
All right.
I need, I couldn't.
you finally picked Soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't love Soul
You
as
cut it
much as
close
like
then. I
as
think
much
people
as
do.
I do.
Soul has like a higher rating than Inside Out.
Shit. I want to change my Lego Movie pick.
Oh, you're
Too
bad.
bad.
You're so bummed out, bro. Get wrecked. With my final pick, see, there's so much that's still on the board, and I don't think
So
there's
many.
I just don't-
staring at loads.
Yeah, there's
Cars
just not
2
an
is right
obvious
there.
pick. I'm gonna be faithful to myself, and I'm gonna go with the highest rated animated movie, in my opinion, that's still on the board, and that's Perfect Blue.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so
Yeah, I just want to be faithful
Heard
to
it's-
I
myself.
can't watch.
I respect that this week.
It's not getting any votes, but
It's the highest rated one that we've probably had though. In terms of like ratings, it's fucking highly rated. Perfect
Yeah.
Blue, isn't it? I'm not sure if that
4.4.
makes it, though. Wow.
so good.
Last pick for me. There's a few here I still would like to have, but because I already have one pick on my board, I don't want to get this other one. But I'm gonna go with Finding Nemo to
I thought about that. That's a
round
good
us
pick.
out.
I think
That's
I
good.
find Nemo rated a little lower than most people. Still a good
I
movie.
do. I
I
like
haven't seen it in a
four.
long time, to be fair.
Yeah.
I like Finding Nemo a lot.
Seth, wrap us up.
I am between one of two. One is Pixar and one is DreamWorks.
Do DreamWorks.
I think I know the
No.
DreamWorks.
No,
I think
'cause
I'm gonna
no,
guess.
my Pixar's higher, and that's Monsters Inc.
Oh, I like
Oh,
Monsters.
Love
That
Monsters.
one wasn't even on my radar, but like it should have been.
I love
Nah,
Was the
Monsters.
Pixar one
nah,
just
nah.
was the Pixar one just or DreamWorks Shrek?
Shrek
Yeah,
too.
Shrek 1. Shrek 1.
Ah,
Shrek
Yeah,
1.
I'm a Shrek 1 guy, but I
I
think
feel
the
bad
people,
that Shrek's
people
not
like
even got
Shrek 2 a
picked.
lot, man.
I love Shrek. It's not even
That's what I was gonna pick, but I already had Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, so I didn't really
Yeah.
want
The
to.
one I wanted to switch out for the Lego Movie, which I do love the Lego Movie, I just don't have it as high as a lot of the ones that are left. The Iron Giant.
Oh, that's real.
Oh,
I
I wanted to
That would-
switch. I wanted to
Yeah, that
switch
would've
out
been-
for the Iron Giant, but I
would've
messed
been
up. I
number-
messed up. It's fine.
I was going to
damn,
say
dude.
Coraline would have been close for me.
That's my second highest rated, but I didn't pick it. But yeah, Coraline.
Fantastic.
I just think
Mr.
too many people are
Fox.
scarred from it.
Yeah,
The only animated film not in my top 10 that wasn't taken is A Silent Voice.
I haven't seen it yet. The only one not in my top 10 was Fantastic Mr. Fox, I think.
I'm pretty pissed off I didn't take How to Train Your Dragon, honestly.
Oh, wait, George, have
Oh,
you
shit.
seen My Neighbor Totoro?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that didn't get picked.
I-
That's high for me.
A couple
just
that
outside
are
my top
highly
20.
rated for me. Obviously, Moana. I didn't think that'd get picks. Mitchell's vs. Machines. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
The original Mulan. I really love
The
original.
Wind Rises. What a
Yeah.
film.
Oh, yeah.
The original
Could've gone
Tarzan,
and Miyazaki.
Little Mermaid, Toy Story
Howl's
2.
Moving Castle?
Oh, yeah.
No,
Isle of Dogs.
Ooh, The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. These are all, every movie I'm naming, like Hercules, Fantastic Mr. Fox, these are all above a 90 out of 100 for me. Klaus.
There's a lot.
I have so many.
No,
Oh, I
animated-
should have
Oh,
picked
How to
Meet the
Train Your
Robinsons. Meet the
Um,
Robinsons. Oh,
How to
damn.
Train Your Dragon, I feel like would have
Oh, yeah.
gotten some votes for people, but I think, they're great movies. They're not held. I don't think they're as good as some others. It's just
What about Chicken Run?
Chicken
Chicken Run's great film. Man. It's a really good film.
I've ranked every animated movie. I have a list on Letterboxd. There's 165 animated films on this list. How many of them do you think are above a 4.5?
55.
23.
What'd you say, Tyler?
55.
No. 23.
60.
Wow.
My guesses today, I'm just on fire.
The first animated movie for me that would be low. So.
But you know what's crazy? I only have 11 rated a 5 out of 5, which means I have 49 animated films rated a 4.5 out of 5.
I have quite a few.
I have 50. I have 51 4.5 out of 5s.
How many 5s?
700.
I got to go back. I don't have a letterbox list.
All right, let me read our drafts. Cam, Into the Spider-Verse, Coco, Inside Out, The Lego Movie, and Soul.
It's a good
George,
draft.
good draft. Soul. George took Spirited Away, The Lion King, Batman, Mask of the Phantasm, Toy Story 3, and Perfect Blue. Tyler took Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I cannot believe that. I'm so mad about that. The Incredibles, WALL-E, Up, and Finding Nemo. And Seth, with the final pick, took Ratatouille, Your Name, Grave of the Fireflies, Toy Story 1, and Monsters, Inc.
Cool.
So I have 12 5 out of 5, so right around with George. And I think the one difference maybe Moana. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
But the interesting thing is my gap between, my 95 out of 100 is a 5 out of 5, right? So I have 12 above a 95 out of 100. The next closest is My Neighbor Totoro at a 92. So in that 92 to 85, I have 41 movies.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll move something up. I don't know.
No, you're chilling. Do you think?
I just noticed in my animated list ranking, I have Enchanted. That one probably can't count, right? Like half the movie's animated, half the movie's not.
I count that on the same level as Marcel. There's real. It's not animated.
Oh, I have Marcel on my animated list too.
Yeah,
I have Marcel.
Is Enchanted the one with Amy Adams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's tough because like an hour of the movie's animated, like an hour.
Then if you count that, then you got to count I don't know, like the Smurfs movie is animated. I don't know.
I promise you, I have not watched and rated that, so that's not a predicament
You've
for
never
me.
seen the Smurfs with Neil Patrick Harris? You fuck.
I've seen it, to be fair.
All right, we're going down a weird rabbit hole right now.
We'll end up there.
23 and a 9 out of 100 between the two Smurfs movies for me.
Jesus Christ. What a way to end. Well, I'll take it off there. As usual, thanks for supporting the Patreon, as I said at the start. Please like the video, share it, tell a friend. Word of mouth gets us very far, especially in the podcast community where it's quite hard to grow on YouTube and stuff like that. Merch at 5K, we spoke about before. Patreon is in all our links if you want to have a look at some of the many great benefits you have. And then also another plus side, we'll be producing a lot more content because of it as well, such as movie reviews, such as extra drafts, extra trivia, and just extra real quicks throughout the week. So we'll close up there. And thank you for listening. Hope everyone has a good day.
Peace.